Tim Koa, one of the biggest Etsy YouTubers on the platform. We're going to react to his video of the top 10 side hustles that he recommends. It is hard to start a only Etsy YouTube channel, and I did notice that most of his other videos don't get as many views, but all the videos I've seen are high quality. So I'm looking forward to see what he recommends for some of these side hustles. I'll give my opinions on some of these on this channel. You know, I've done a ton of different side hustles, so I've probably done most of the ones that he's going to talk about. So let's get into this video. Excited to see what he has to say.
So a little over 3 years ago, I embarked on the journey of building and growing side hustles. First, it was a sticker business. I invested about $300 into a cutting machine and some sticker paper on Amazon, and I started designing and making stickers in my free time on evenings and weekends. When I posted them for sale, I wasn't expecting much, but over time, it slowly started to bring in some pretty significant money, somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 a month.
Okay, so $5,000 per month, pretty good. Almost like a full-time income here, but then also this is minus the costs, I'm assuming, because they are looking at Canada dollar revenue here of 43,000 a year. I'm sure there is, some cost with sticker paper and also, I don't know, printer ink, I would guess, and then also shipping the items out and the packaging for shipping. So, there's a lot of costs that go into an Etsy store as well when you're not doing print on demand that you got to think about. So just remember that.
Being one of the coolest things that I've ever done in my life, I started to share my story with friends, and some of them thought it was pretty cool too. And they encouraged me to share my story online. So that's when I started my second side hustle, this YouTube channel. Unlike my first side hustle, where I had at least some experience.
So he crushes it on YouTube with his Etsy videos. I've noticed some of those get 50,000, even hundreds of thousands of views, and then every other video gets less than 50,000 views. So kind of interesting. It's hard to be a full-time Etsy content creator. There's very few that are successful at that don't post like every single day. We'll see how he takes his YouTube channel from here.
I didn't know the first thing about making videos, but I didn't let it stop me. I took some courses and watched some tutorials online, and I started making videos of my own. The early ones were rough, but I kept posting anyways. And over time, more and more people started to tune in. Fast forwarding to today, I somehow managed to get 100,000 people to hit that subscribe button. And this side hustle is now bringing in a pretty significant amount of money on its own. Needless to say, I really like side hustles, and I'm pretty much recommending them.
Basically double the amount of money on YouTube compared to Etsy, which is pretty interesting as a side hustle.
In this video, I'm going to be sharing a list of side hustles that I think would be good to start today. And I'm going to be giving each one of them a rating based on startup costs, skills required, and passiveness.
If you guys want Etsy shop ideas, you could watch one of my other videos on that or watch his full video on that. I want to get into other side hustles besides Etsy in this one. That's what I'm most interested in, not Etsy store ideas. So we're going to fast forward until he gets into the other side hustles that are not just Etsy niche store ideas.
Next, I'm going to be moving on to non-Etsy side hustle ideas. And the first one here is user-generated content. If you've never heard of user-generated content, or UGC, it's content usually in the form of video, images, text, or reviews, or whatever, that's produced by the end user of a product or service. People have been creating UGC for a long time. You buy a product, you unbox it, and you talk about it on social media. What's new is that recently, more and more brands are reaching out to customers and paying them directly to create this content for them.
Okay, I have actually done this, and I've made a video on it. It is titled like the easiest passive income of 2023 or something like that, but it's on Amazon. I don't know if he's about to get into this. You make videos on products that are on Amazon, and it actually goes on the listing page, and then if you get someone to watch your video before making a purchase, you get like 4% of the money. So if it's like, a $200 camera, you get $8 for every sale. It's pretty good, and I've been making a few hundred a month doing that. I've also been paid by some companies to do these video reviews, and they pay anywhere between like $20 and $30 in my experience. So it's not a ton, but let's see what he has to say about this one. I like this side hustle.
Brands are learning that this type of content is coming off as more authentic and more engaging to their customers than their highly produced commercials or sponsored ads. I know some people who literally just picked up their phones and walked around their house looking for products that they liked and made videos about them and posted them online onto their social media accounts. They'll post it to their stories and reels and tag the companies that made them. And some of those brands will actually reach out for them to create paid UGC. The great thing about user-generated content is that unlike with typical influencer marketing or sponsorships, you don't need an audience or following to get started. I've seen brands reach out to people with zero following whatsoever. They just have to like your content. In terms of startup costs, it's pretty low. I'm going to be assuming that each of you has your own smartphone. And if you do, that's really all you need to get started. These companies aren't looking for fancy commercials filmed with an expensive camera. They're looking for raw content that doesn't look edited at all. So if you're able to use the built-in editors on Instagram and TikTok, I feel that's really all you need to get started. So for skills, I'm going to be giving this a 1 out of 5. In terms of passiveness, this isn't really passive at all. You're going to be making tons of videos. And if you do get offers for paid UGC, these ones are not passive at all. You're going to have to keep making videos to earn more money. So for passiveness, it's a 1 out of 5.
You got a 1 on all the scores. So for this one, I would say startup costs would be a 1 initially, but then you're going to run out of stuff to review, and you might actually have to buy stuff for this. That does pay off. I've bought things for like $10 or $20, and over the past 6 months, they've made me, twice as much as that, and they keep making me money like almost every single day. In that aspect, startup costs might go up over time. Skills required, again, pretty easy, like he said, to make TikTok videos, the Amazon videos that I make. And then passiveness, he gives it a 1. I might give it a 2 or a 3 because I haven't made videos in like 6 months and I'm still bringing in $200. So you can make a lot of videos up front on the Amazon route, which is kind of what he's talking about, but kind of not really. He's talking about like building up an Instagram or TikTok page, which is interesting. And maybe I should actually try that, throwing the videos that I've already making on Amazon on a TikTok account, on an Instagram account, on a YouTube Shorts account, and seeing if get traction that way. So that is something interesting that I should probably try with that business because I already have the videos out anyways. So far off to a good start in my opinion with the side hustles.
It's no secret that short form video content has been taking over the internet over the last few years. And with that, more and more people are looking to have this kind of content produced for them. If you spend a lot of time on TikTok and Instagram Reels, and you have a good eye on what does well on the platform, learning how to edit and make these types of videos can translate into a good business. Personally, if I was getting started with this, I would make a list of YouTubers and podcasts that I like that weren't prioritizing short form content, and just turn their content into short form for free. If you're doing this and you're making
It's harder to do than it seems. I tried to start this and I made a list of exactly what he said. Popular YouTube influencers who don't have any short form content. I reached out to maybe 100 of them as testing out a side hustle and saying, hey, can I make short form content from your already content that you have? I got 0 people to contact me back. I'm guessing they get tens of emails a day asking about this, and your emails are going to come off of spammy. So if you can get in contact with people, this is definitely something that they'll pay for. Also, there's a ton of great AI tools that make really good looking videos, all from AI. So if you just buy a subscription to a website that makes short form video content out of longer content, honestly, if you can get customers, you could just 20 minutes have their videos downloaded, put them in the AI short form content generator. It'll whip up, 50 videos. You could choose 20 of the best ones and you're done with this in 20 minutes. And if you could charge, hundreds of dollars, definitely a good side hustle in my opinion, but just hard to get those clients is going to be the big thing here.
Quality shorts for these creators to post on their feeds and they perform well. I feel like it's just a matter of time before they reach out to you and offer to pay you to create more for them. For startup costs, you're going to be needing a computer that's...
Okay, so he said offer to do it free, which actually is a good idea up front. Maybe put that in the title of your email, like free short form content. Do it for free for, 5 videos and then charge after that. So let's see what he says about the rankings here.
Powerful enough to do video editing, as well as the software that can edit the videos. These can get a little pricey, so for startup costs, I'm going to be giving it a 3 out of 5.
Okay, for startup costs, 3 out of 5. I would say a 1 or a 2. You can do this 100% on something free like iMovie, or even on the TikTok and Instagram app. You can edit these directly in there. With just those 2 free platforms. Can pay for the AI site monthly. Maybe it's $20 a month. I would give this a 1 or a 2 on startup costs. He said you have to buy like some expensive softwares. I don't think you have to do that, especially when first starting out.
Skills required. Video editing is a little bit more complicated than graphic design, so I'm going to be giving it a 3 out of 5. In terms of passiveness, again,
I do agree with the 3 of 5 on skills. It is kind of hard to make this, but if you have AI, it's a 1.
This isn't really a passive business. You're going to need to create videos to get clients, and once you do get clients, you're going to have to keep producing these videos for them. So for passiveness, it's a 1 out of 5.
Okay, I would give it a 3 out of 5 because if you have the AI, like I said, it's really a 1 as far as work. But I'm giving it a 3 here because it is a little bit of work to make the AI short form videos, and then also it is a lot of work to find new clients. A 3, maybe even a 2 here because, yeah, finding clients, so it's not going to be that passive.
I don't know if I'm the only one, but on TikTok and Instagram, my feed is filled with people doing retail arbitrage. They'll go around Targets and Walmarts with their barcode scanning app, and they'll try to find products with a large price difference with Amazon. When they find one, they'll clear out the shelves and they'll list them on Amazon for a profit. Whenever I look more into this and I do more research, I'm always finding that the profit margin is just not big enough to make it worth the time, especially if you're taking into account the shipping costs and processing fees. However, if you're looking into used goods instead of new, I do feel like for some products, the profit margin is wide enough to make it worth it. This is something that I did used to dabble in a little bit when I was younger. I would go around to different garage sales in the summertime and pick up video games and toys for really cheap, like $1 to $5. And then I would take those and list them on eBay and sell them for $40 to $50 plus shipping, which is a pretty good margin. Doing some research now, it definitely looks like it's become a little bit harder for retro and collectible stuff. I've seen some people doing this, document their journey, and they're making over 6 figures a year doing this. And while this definitely isn't a side hustle for everybody, I do feel like it's good for people who enjoy shopping and looking around for deals. For startup costs, you don't.
Okay, before the scores here, definitely a side hustle I recommend, especially for people just getting started with side hustles. I made a video on this of going to Goodwill, and I think I bought 3 items. I can't remember how much they were, but they were like $15 total maybe that I spent, and I sold them for $50. And in that video, it was, a 24-hour challenge, so I really didn't sell them during that day, but I listed them for prices that they would sell on eBay. And that video's been out for over a month now, and all the items have sold. So I turned like $15 into $50 in profit after the eBay fees. So it's definitely doable, easy thing. And I think I spent like 15 minutes at a thrift store doing that video. So 10 minutes listing the items on eBay plus shipping them out. Definitely a good side hustle, especially if you're just getting started with them.
Even if you have $0 to your name, you could always look on your local ads and find things for free, like couches or furniture, that can flip for a pretty good margin as well. For that reason, I'm going to give startup costs a 1 out of 5.
Okay, I'd give it a 2 out of 5, maybe even a 3 out of 5, because at first when you're doing this, you're not going to be as good as someone, honestly, like me, who I've been doing this for over a year. Randomly, when I go to the grocery store, there's a Goodwill like right next to it, so I'll go there, see if they have anything. I'll do that once a week, maybe every other week. And when I first started this, I was buying things there that I thought people would buy for more on eBay, but sometimes it turns out that's not the case. So you could go there, spend $10, $15 on stuff that never sells, and then you're just losing $10, $15. So you have to build up your skills over this.
Skills, you're going to be needing some basic bargaining skills, as well as slowly learning what kind of products do well. This is probably going to be easier for some of you than others, but I'm going to give skills required a 2 out of 5. For passiveness,
Yeah, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. There is a good amount of skill, especially you're going to buy some bad things up front that you're probably going to lose money on or just hold for a really long time. So I would give it a 3.
this isn't a passive side hustle at all. You're going to need to put in the work to source the items and also to sell the items. But the reason I wanted to add it to this list is that I know there's a type of person out there that loves shopping and searching around for deals. This is the perfect side hustle for those types of people, but it's not very passive. So for passiveness, I'm giving it a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, definitely a 1. It's not passive. You have to go to the store to look for the things to buy. Then you have to list them on eBay. And then after they sell on eBay, you have to package them up and then go to the post office. So there's like 4 things really you have to do to make money with this. And yeah, it's not passive at all.
Whether you want to tutor people one-on-one with a platform like Wyzant, or you want to create an online course for people to watch on a website like Skillshare, there's a ton of options out there for people who want to teach online. One thing that I do want to mention is that a lot of people think that they need to be an expert to be able to teach something to somebody. In my experience, it's actually been better to learn something from somebody who's just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you versus an expert who is so advanced that you might have trouble understanding them. For startup costs, you're probably going to need your own laptop or computer to teach online. You might also need a webcam, but these days those are pretty cheap to get. So for startup costs, I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5.
Okay, I would agree with that. 2 out of 5. I actually didn't even talk about the online teaching. So before we react to the startup cost, this is something that I've done in the past. I did Udemy, which is something he hasn't talked about. And I think I've made 8 courses back in 2015, 2016, I want to say. From those 8 courses, there were some months I was making hundreds of dollars per month, but I haven't touched them in like 9 years, I guess now, 7, 8 years. And still, I make like $50 a month with those. And up until just a couple years ago, I think it was over $100 a month still on those online courses. So Udemy, definitely a good one to check out if you want to do these online course.
For skills, you're obviously going to need
Okay, so sorry, for startup cost as well. Yeah, I guess I agree with the two, but it could be a one if you already have a laptop. All you need is a laptop with a webcam, which is what I'm recording on right now. And then you probably have some of those old iPhone headphones with built-in mic. You don't even need to buy a mic like this, but this mic I got on Amazon, which is pretty good, and it's 20 bucks, I want to say, maybe even 15. I'll link it down below if you want it. A lot of things I talk about in this video I'll link down below, like Udemy and some other videos that I've talked about.
skill that you can teach others, but you're also going to need the skill of teaching, which is another skill in itself. So for this one, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. For passive,
Oh, 4 out of 5. So I would give this a 2 out of 5. You just have to know anything about any topic. I did fantasy football. I did making a website on WordPress. I did simple video editing. I did even a Spanish course because I did take some Spanish in college. A beginning Spanish course that did pretty well. I can't even remember the other ones I did, but I knew a little bit about it and not a ton. And then the video editing to put together a course is pretty simple, just cutting together clips, kind of like how I'm editing this video. It's really simple editing that you could pick up. So I'd give it a 2, not a 4.
passiveness, this is either going to be a 1 out of 5 or a 5 out of 5. If you're tutoring and you're doing this live one-on-one with a student, then it's not very passive at all. It's going to be a 1 out of 5. But if you're making online courses that you make one time and unlimited amount of students can watch that and pay you for it, then that's very passive. That's a 5 out of 5.
Okay, yeah, actually, I didn't know he was talking about doing one-on-one teaching. I thought this was all putting a course up on Udemy or Skillshare, I think it's called. So yeah, I agree, 5 out of 5 for passiveness if you're doing it that way.
So it depends on what you're doing, but I'm going to average it out and give it a 3 out of 5. The next side hustle is YouTube. Obviously, this is something that I'm pretty familiar with now. And if I'm being honest, I still think it's one of the best side hustles that you can start today.
Okay, we're going to stop the video here. YouTube as a side hustle. We all know, watching a ton of YouTube videos, I'm sure most people have tried the YouTube side hustle. It's hard to crack into. I mean, even on this channel, I haven't reached 1,000 subs yet. I have made other YouTube channels that have a good amount of subscribers, but it definitely is hard to break into. And even when you get 1,000 subscribers and your videos are getting, 5,000 views on average, you're not going to be making a ton of money. He's had some videos absolutely explode, hundreds of thousands of views. Maybe even one of his videos hit 1 million. I don't know. We'll have to throw some screenshots up here of some of his most viewed videos, but then also some of his latest videos where he's kind of stopped talking about Etsy aren't getting nearly the amount of views. But gosh, I mean, is he not just like the nicest person you've ever not met? I guess because we haven't met him, but through his videos he just seems like the nicest, most genuine person and has a really like ASMR kind of like soft voice. So definitely recommend watching his videos. They're definitely pretty good, and I don't really have a gripe with any of these side hustles that he recommends. I've tried most of them myself and have made money with them, so would recommend trying these side hustles. Obviously try YouTube, it could be your thing, but if it's not, you could try Etsy. I have a ton of videos on Etsy, so does Tim Koa. You could try the reviews. I would go the Amazon route to start making money like immediately. Online courses, I haven't dabbled into that as of late, but like I said in the reaction, I had a bunch of online courses that still make money today, so you could try that as well. Flipping old stuff online, I made a video on. So I've made a lot of videos on this stuff, so I'll have some videos here at the end of me trying some of these side hustles, and then also down in the links below I'll have some other links like Udemy and the link to Amazon, Printful for starting your Etsy store with print on demand, all that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.